Hello Year 4, our next revision is on division. There's our calculation, 108 divided by 6. How have we taught you to do that in Year 4? We've used a method called chunking on a number line. So we do need a number line in here, and as usual we're going to stop the tape about 6 times and ask you some questions. So here's the first question. What numbers do you put on the left of the number line? Over here, what number goes there? And what number goes on the right of the number line? There. We put 0 on the left and a large number 108 on the right. We need a number line that is 108 long because we're going to divide it and see how many 6s we can put in there. Now we've got to see how many 6s fit into 108. It's a bit like if we had 108 children and we had to divide them into teams of 6. How many teams would we get? How many teams of 6 would we get if we had 108 children? Now, one way to do this would be just to do jumps of 6. There's a jump of 6, that gets us to 6, another one gets us to 12, another one gets us to 18, another one gets us to 24, and so on. We could just keep jumping in 6s until eventually we would reach 108. If we did it that way, here's question 2. If we did it that way, what would be the sign or the number that we'd put in above this jump? How would we record this on a number line? What would we put above that jump? We would put times 1. We're asking ourselves how many 6s fit into 108. How many lots of 6 are there in 108? There's one lot of 6, there's another lot, there's another lot, and there's another lot. One lot of 6 gets us to 6, another lot, etc. So it's times 1. So counting in 6s does work, but it takes a long time, doesn't it? There's got to be a quicker, more efficient way to do that instead of counting in times 1, times 1, times 1, times 1, times 1. What could we do instead? Why is this method called chunking on a number line? Instead of just doing one lot of 6, we could do a whole group of 6s. How many 6s could we do in one jump? What's a really good number to start with? 10 lots of the number is usually a really good idea because multiplying by 10 is so easy. Now I've got 10 lots of 6 on the number line. What's 10 6s? What's 10 lots of 6s? 60. So I've already got to 60 on the number line. Can you see how much quicker that is than counting in 6, 12, 18, etc. 10 lots gets me there really quickly. Now can I do another jump of 10? No, I can't, because that would be another 60. That would be 120 and I'm off the number line. Now there's lots of ways of filling in this gap here. The way we taught you in Year 4 is if you can't do 10 lots of a number, you next try 5 lots of a number. So 5 6s are 30. 60 add 30 makes 90. So the next jump is going to get me to 90 on the number line. That's because I've added an extra 5 lots of 6. What number could I try next? Again, you might be able to do it all in one jump. We taught you in Year 4 to try 10 and then to try 5 and then to try 2. That's right. 2 lots of 6 are 12. 2 6s are 12. 90 add 12 is 102. So that would go in there. That would be 2 more 6s, got me that far. I can't do another set of 2, that would be 12 on top of that, would take me over the number line. What's the difference between 102 and 108? It is 6, that's just one lot of 6 there. So 10 lots of 6 get me there, another 5, another 2, another 1. How many lots of 6 have I used altogether to get? How do I do that? What do I do next? I add them up. 10, add 5, 15, add 2, 17, add 1 equals 18. And that's the answer to our calculation, 18. There we go. Now our last 2 questions are really difficult. If you are trying to teach this to mum or dad or somebody else in the family, they'll be brilliant if they know these answers before you teach them. So question 5 is the answer to a division calculation. Our answer in this one is 18. Has got a special name. When you're adding 2 numbers up, it's called the sum. When you're subtracting, it's called the difference. When you're multiplying, it's called the product. But when you're dividing, what is the answer to a division question called? The quotient. It's called the quotient. And then maybe even harder, we'll just go on this number. What do you call, we're just teaching you some maths vocabulary here, which will really help you in year 5 and in year 6. What do you call the number that you're dividing by? So in this calculation, we're dividing by 6. And that number's got a special word. There's the quotient. This one's called the dividend, but I don't think you need to know that. Don't worry about that. But this one is worth learning in year 4. What do you call the number that you're dividing by? Well done. That's the end of learning to divide and revising how we did that. It's called the divisor. That number there is called the divisor, or the divisor. And that's the end. If you managed to get all 6 right, that's amazing. If you didn't, then you can obviously rewind the tape until you've got it. And again, just a final reminder that the best way to be absolutely sure you've got this is could you teach it to somebody else in your household? Could you teach somebody else how to divide on the number line so that they get all 6 questions right as well? Well done. Bye for now.